Lawa. Read Lawa. And I say, Boucher Kosho D, you are dismissed. All right. Thank you very much. You can put your gift cap.
Abracadabra!
Okay.
There goes Congress.
Do that. Now you're holding. You're going to have to hold it up.
Of manufacture, and I'll have it here in Pennsylvania Griswold where it's made.
Yep, squeeze it at the bottom.
But these old pieces here with this, they really were.
You did it. Thank you. You're welcome. We also.
Whenever you're ready, would you mind telling me a little bit about the encampment here?
Hi, I'm Doug Nicholson. I'm the president of Militia St. Genevieve. We are the living historians, and we're portraying the colonial French militia of St. Genevieve. What we have set up today is a camp. We're demonstrating some of the things that the members of the militia would have done in their daily lives. We've got people that are just playing games. We got one lady with a spinning wheel. We have cooking demonstrations going on. We've got people with equipment that they're displaying, things that the militia would have carried, their guns and the accoutrements that went with the guns. We're open till 4 o'clock, and we hope everybody gets to come and see us. And we're here for the public, and we love questions.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
I'm making powder horns to carry your loose gunpowder in when you're shooting a musket. And there's all different kinds. These are made from somebody who's professionally doing that. A lot of times they were just made by farmers, you know, on the farm and stuff. But these are engraved in different things. Here we have one that commemorates the Battle of St. Louis, 1780, and they built a big tower. That tower was right where the ballpark is today. Okay.
Yeah, he probably
It has a map of the city of St. Louis, and they put a wall all the way around the city of St. Louis, and that tower was in the middle. And they fought off about 2,000 Indians there. They also hit Cahokia at the same time, and they fought off a large number of Indians and British at Cahokia. So, and the British were trying to get up the Mississippi and come in to the colonists from the other way to capture forts along the Mississippi and then go west. And that battle, that St. Louis 1780, kept the British from doing that. So it was a very important battle. Here's another one from the time of the Revolution. You've got a fellow on here, and he's toasting the American armies. It says "Success to the American armies" on it. These are typical things that you'd find engraved on a powder horn.
What do you start out?
And then on the other side, it's got the king, the crown, and the slogan, "No king but Jesus."
They were like $4.
It's typical. This is a buffalo horn, and we would have had a lot of buffalo in the area, and they used them to make buffalo powder horns too. And here's one's called a flat horn, and they are heated and pressed flat like that. Then you have to make an oblong butt for it. And this is for putting a small amount of powder in your pocket. If you're just going to go out and shoot a squirrel or two, you don't have to carry a big horn out with it. This one has got the map of Ireland on it. There were people here from Ireland. There's another map horn. This one has the map of the Mississippi and the Ohio going east. And this is Illinois and Indiana and Ohio. Typical map horn. So what else we got here? When you get a horn, they were oblong. The back is full of all kind of nasty stuff. They clean that out, and the back end it was oblong. So you heat up a pan of grease up to 350. I have an old Fry Daddy in my shop, and I put that down in that grease about an inch and a half or so. Okay, and when it comes up, when the little bubbles start rising in it, you take it off, take it out, and you take a farmer like this, and you jam that in there, and that makes it round. And because you've gotten it up to 350, it will stay there when you take it out. If you just do it with water, with hot water, it'll go right back to where it was. So then you can go to your wood lathe and you can make a butt for it that will fit right in there like that. So it's not stained or anything yet. I'm just working on this horn. So a lot of file work on this. So I've squared it up to where there's 4 sides, and now I'm filing them down to where I'll get an octagon on it, like this on the tip, which is kind of typical. And then I'll file a button or a ball on it so that your powder, your strap won't slide off. That's what that button is there for. So all kind of neat things. And powder horns are a lot of history. They have something to say about all the different periods and stuff. So it's a great historical thing. So there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How long does the process take you?
How are you? Having fun?
It depends on the horn. Just doing this file work like this.
Yeah.
If I'm down in my shop, I will speed it up by using a grinder. I'll rough this stuff out with a grinder. But then from there, it's got to be all done with a file and a little gouge to put these little dentals on there like that. So I'm not working steady at it, but if I turn one out in a week of evenings or something, that's pretty good. So I'm not trying to make as many as I can. I enjoy the process. So
All right, well, thank you for your time.
yeah.
Hi, would you mind telling me a little bit about your involvement with the Encampment?
Hi, my name is Mike, and I demonstrate a lot of cast iron cookware items. This is a bean pot. You can tell it is from pre-1900. It's just got this gate mark. It's a scar along the bottom of it from the manufacturing process. They would break this off of the mold. It's not a neat, orderly process like it is done today. You can see on this is a hanging skillet as well. You're going to see that same scar on the bottom of it along here. You would use these hanging skillets over hearths on a crane. Come out, you would have all your items on here and it's meant to hang, or you can use it stationary as well. It's a lot different than our modern pans are. As you can see, I've got a Griswold from the early 1900s. It will say USA or its origin of manufacture, where it's from. And you can see that here. And I know it's from that era by the Griswold logo. These Griswolds have a very smooth, glassy finish on them. It's very different from any other cast iron that you would see from today. It is from the sand mold that this was made from. These pans have a very glassy, smooth finish. A lot different from what we had back in the day. This item over here is a wafer iron. This item could be used for making communion and can also be used for making different desserts and pancakes and treats. And we've just had this for a few days. This is our newest item. And you would use this over a fire and get it hot, just like you would a modern waffle iron. A lot of the older pans in the day and age, kind of like this reproduction piece, have long handles on them. So you can use them over a fire from a distance away without burning yourself. This is a pipkin. It's made out of redware. This is what you would use for any of your gravies or your sauces. You don't want to use this on a modern cook stove because you're going to crack it. It is made out of clay and it is glazed. You put this underneath maybe a chicken or a turkey or any item that you want to get drippings off of, and then you pour it onto your meat. These items here are tinware. These items would be used for baking. Maybe you were going to bake a loaf of bread. I've baked a white pot pudding in this before. If you're familiar at all with a modern bread pudding, it is very similar. Currants were used in the dish, which nowadays is called raisins. So that's what these items are. Over here is a boiler. It's made out of the same material as the previously shown pans. This is what they would have boiled maybe potatoes in, boiled rice in, because back in the 1800s you would not want to use your cast iron pieces to boil in. You're going to wind up taking the seasoning off of your pan, which is essentially any oil that you want to use. Personally myself, I will use either grapeseed oil, flaxseed oil, or avocado oil, as they are the highest smoke point oils that can be found today. That's what I tend to use. They will make your pans nice shiny black, and they'll last a lifetime. These are very old pieces and they've been very well loved.
All right, thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, to start to build a fire, you need to build yourself what's called a bird's nest. And this is a old bird's nest I found laying in the yard. I don't want to burn that up, so I'm going to build one out of old jute twine. I'm just going to take it and pull the twine apart into a fuzz ball and keep adding more to it till I think I got enough to get it going. And the next thing you're going to have to make is some char cloth. Char cloth is made fairly easy. Back in the day they would have used anything made out of linen or any naturally made material that would be turned into a shirt or an old worn out pair of trousers or something like that. And they would take it and cut up the cloth into little squares, and they would find a tin, such as this one, and put a little hole in it, take that material and cut it up into little squares, put the tin lid on it, and this would end up in a campfire. You would watch the hole, and when the smoke stopped coming out of the hole while it's in the fire, this cloth here would go from being whatever color it is and turn into char cloth. It's called char cloth because basically I made charcoal. Now I'm going to take a small piece.
That's it. All right. Now.
And I'm going to take a piece of flint. Flint comes in all kinds of colors and qualities. And you need a good piece of steel. This is called a striker. And it's called a striker because I'm going to strike this against this piece of flint, and I'm going to try to catch a spark onto this piece of char cloth, and it'll start glowing. Sometimes it takes me a little bit, sometimes I get it in the first try.
You're either going to end up with an A or you end up with a principal.
You see it glowing right there.
Let me know how that works out for you. So
now I'm going to take this piece of char cloth,
I know, and the trick is you need to know the card on the bottom.
put it in that little bird's nest I built.
I know yours is next. While it looks like I'm shuffling them up, I don't want to get down to those two cards. So, you know, kids don't.
And as soon as I get that going, I would take something like my bird's nest, drop it on there. Anything else I could get that would burn.
There's a lot of barter going on. So you're a seamstress and I need a new pair of pants. And you got a big dead tree laying out here in the backyard.
And then start adding more material to it and build it up. So I'd add that, pieces of bark, then I'd add twigs and sticks and build it up into a big fire.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of,
Every little boy, 5, 6 years old back in the 1700s know how to do this, because one of the first things he would do would get up in the morning and make the fire for Mom's kitchen so they could cook. This was a basic survival thing, making fire out of flint and steel. So as long as you got a piece of hardened steel, which could be an old file that's when the edge has been ground down, something to make char cloth out of, and a piece of flint, and it does not matter what quality. It comes in all kinds of shapes, colors, and qualities. Like this is even a chocolate color.
they only got one pair of socks.
Even there's a material around here found in this area called chert. It's kind of a cream color. It will work, but you have to work at it because this is a very, very low grade type of flint.
And that would protect your socks.
So it's survival. Survival of the 1700s and 1600s is building a campfire out of flint and steel.
Things like that. You didn't want to,
Everyone on the frontier carried this little kit.
but then, you know, if you weren't in the military, you probably would.
If you got an old rope, just tear that apart and it'll work too.
You wanted to protect your legs against.
And that's how you build a fire.
Thank you.
Like
You're welcome.
Hi, would you mind telling me a little bit about who you are and about the drills you did earlier?
Sure. My name is Bill McKnight. I portray the captain of the militia here in St. Genevieve. Earlier on, we were doing some drill. We haven't drilled since last fall, so the men were a little rusty. So usually when we have our encampments here in St. Genevieve, we'll do some drill for about a half hour. We were drilling the men on their movements as they would say if we were to be called up for any kind of a conflict or a battle. The men must know how to march together to form a rank of a battalion formation or a single line marching formation. They also have to learn the correct position to begin the firing sequence. If anyone's ever seen us perform during Jour de Fête, we go out a couple of times a day on Saturday and we go through the entire firing motion. In fact, we do fire blanks during Jour de Fête. But today we were mostly just drilling, knocking off the rust, getting ready for this summer. We'll have several events here in St. Genevieve and we want to look sharp. So today was a good day for us to get out. We had a nice crowd earlier before it rained a little bit, and the guys did well. They did real well. You could tell it'd been a few months since we had practiced, but things are looking good. I think we're back on track.
All right, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.